This is FUBAR Radio. I am joined by Mike Righteous right now. We're going to be chatting about his brand new album, Dreamland, which is out tomorrow. How are you feeling?
Technically, it's out tonight.
Tonight? Well,
right?
midnight. That's not tonight. That's tomorrow.
That's tomorrow, but
that's because you're excited, aren't you? You're excited, and you're trying to count down. That's a little bit like Christmas Eve, isn't it? You're waking up.
It's like
you that kid that wakes up at 12:01 a.m. and it's like it's Christmas Day?
This could take a really dark turn if I give you an honest answer.
Okay.
But I'm like that kid that's like the day before his holiday, you know what I mean?
Yeah,
sick, I'm going on holiday.
But that's the best way to be.
Yeah.
And on that note, how excited are you on a scale of 1 to 10 for Dreamland to be dropped finally?
I think the only way to describe it is...
That is the best description, actually. I'd rather we didn't do any words in this interview. We just did sort of feelings and
words
movements.
are just symbols for feelings, and sometimes words can't explain feelings, and that feeling I can't explain in words.
The lyrical prowess of this man, just spitting it as we speak. Also, I must say, like, as we've just been setting up for this interview, you've been spitting bars. I kept accidentally interrupting, sounded like I was trying to get involved. Not good enough to get involved. You're a very, very talented man, and I've been listening to all the tracks on Dreamland and loving it. I have to say, though, Be There really struck a chord with me. I absolutely love Vivienne Westwood anyway, but she features on the track.
Amazing.
Huge. Also, of course, you've got featured vocals on there as well. But Vivienne Westwood, how did that come about?
Organically, I'd like to say, for one, like, I didn't have like a label sort of chasing down Vivienne Westwood, like, get Vivienne.
Because did you have Tone singing on it before you...
It was Tone's track originally. He made that in his shed he was like, in 2004. He made that in his mum's shed when he was making beats. We've lost all the stems to it. When we done it, we just recorded it to an MP3 and he already had the vocal recorded.
Amazing.
So we were just like, such a banger, I'm recording it. We recorded it quite a while ago.
Yeah.
The Vivienne thing came about when she... announced herself as a rapper, and I was like, wow, do you want to feature on my album? She was like, cool. And I was like, how about we do it? And then she was in the studio doing it, and I was like,
so you actually got into the studio with her?
I'd met her a couple times.
Sick.
Man, she'd invited me to a group that she's got, which is called Intellectuals Unite, and it's just a group of like I say, people that want to see a change and make a change and collectively coming together to do that. So,
because she's sort of talking a lot about the climate revolution and things like that, and all the
climate,
changes.
Unemployment, general injustice, and someone needs to. People need to. People with power and influence need to, and infrastructure.
And you're one of those people, and you touch on a lot of political subjects in the album. Talk me through how those subjects were, because obviously you were working on this one since 2005, right? Or at least it's based around your life from 2005.
Yes, I'm glad you...
And tell me a bit about the sort of key things in terms of politics and in terms of big events in your life that sort of infiltrated and affected the album and how it is now.
Yeah, well, I mean, leading up to this, in my freestyles, I mean, it's perceived as political, but what I try to do is connect through to the personal rather than the political, and the personal is the feeling of the effects that's caused by a corrupt politician or a corrupt policeman. And them feelings are feelings of sadness and anger and pain. So that's why it comes out how it does. But in my album, as I say, like you said, and I'm glad you recognised, because that is the whole point of this album, and I'm glad, like, for me, that's confirmation. I've done a good job. But yeah, it is a story, and it is personal, and it is documentation of my life from 2005. Like, I tell the story of my first sort of glimpse of a studio, the first few tracks I recorded, how I met my mentor, how I earned money, how I got thrown off course, how I got thrown back on course, how I lost my mind, how I found myself, and eventually realised what's fame, what's money, what's real, what's not. I'm real. Are you?
That's so... I didn't even know what to say after that. That was so sick. You even speak like... Obviously not like you rap, but like you speak in such a poetic way. It's like almost... Oh, sorry, I just banged
That's all right.
No. It's almost hypnotic, the way you talk with such passion about the things that you're making music about. Thank you for your
kind words, but I feel like it's inherited in my background, where I'm from.
Yeah, so you're born and raised in Margate, right?
Yeah.
Tell us a bit about that. How did that affect your music?
It didn't... I mean...
Well, because the album's obviously called Dreamland as well.
The album's called Dreamland. What am I talking about? Yeah, that's such a good question. And to be honest, the way it's affected me as a person, I guess means it's affected me in my music, because
Yeah.
who I am in my music reflects me as a person. And
Mhm.
Margate was everything to me. It built me 100%. My peers showed me like light in dark times when I had nowhere to go.
Mhm.
I stayed with my brother because I was raised in the gutter.
It's really exciting that this album's finally being unleashed on the world, and I think it's very important that we were talking just a minute ago about Akala and about like people rapping
How he
about
likes to filter water.
yeah, how he likes to filter his water in his
It's
house.
very important we do. Cause
Yeah, it's very important. We were just discussing that as well. But you were saying about how rappers talk about certain things in certain songs, but actually talking about things that matter is becoming really important. And actually, it's kind of an epidemic. People are talking about things that they want to make changes about now. And like, as a rapper, do you feel like that's in the core of you, or is it just your personal experience that you're putting through and you're just seeing how that comes out, you know? Or is it you are deliberately trying to make
I mean, what's
certain
important
points?
to you as a person? I can't tell. What's important to me is, it might be for my own egotistical reason, but leaving behind my legacy. And if my legacy's a bad one, I've done a bad job. Even if I go to bed at night knowing that I've done more bad than good that day, I've done a bad job that day. So if I'm going out and I'm stepping on a stage and I'm stepping in front of 1 million people, 1,000 people, 10 people or one person, I need to do a good job.
Yeah,
I
definitely.
can't go out there and tell them a bunch of lies.
But you have done with this as well, and I think your fans are noticing it. Everyone's tweeting, getting excited. And of course, you've got the live album. You're playing it out tonight, right? You're going to have a special.
This is the big, like, these are the things that I want to try and cater to my crowd, crowd of sort of artists. I know there are a lot of people that follow in these footsteps that are listening and watching us, and they've been sort of down-hurdled and doubted by the sort of industry of the criteria of what you need to meet to be able to have a fully functional campaign.
Yeah.
And the truth is, you don't need none of that stuff.
No.
Because they said to me, where do you want to do your listening party? What big building do you want to rent out? And where do you want to put like the speakers and the balloons? And I was like, nowhere. I want to do it everywhere.
Yeah.
And they were like, well, how'd you do that? And I was like, you do it in my bedroom, on my laptop, Facebook Live, with my headphones in, invite the whole world. And then if you got it, you can listen to it on headphones with me, and we'll go through every track, and everyone in the world is invited. Anyone can listen. It's a global listening party.
I'll
If you wanna
definitely be listening. You
listening
guys better
in
listen.
12 o'clock tonight, the global listening party for Mike Righteous's album. But you have to have the album to listen in, because I'll be listening through headphones, and if you've got the album, you'll be listening to it out loud. But I will be speaking through the tracks, telling you when to pause it, going to other tracks, telling you what my favourite bars are about it, telling you the most personal parts of it. Because there are sort of like, in my lyrics, they can sort of be hidden sort of truths. I will explain them hidden truths to you, pause the music and go through them with you. And if you ain't got the music, you've lost out.
That's next level, because I don't think I've ever heard of anyone doing.
I don't think
something
anyone ever
that's-
has, and it's such a simple idea. And it's so effective. Like, if you're an artist, you could do that in your own small little community on a
Yeah.
smaller scale.
Well, it's what people do.
It's what
That's
you've
how
got to do to
artists
get
start
through.
out.
Yeah, exactly. And I think there's a lost art somewhere that's been sort of shrouded by like corporate finance,
fame,
money,
yeah.
fame, jewelry. We've lost sight of legacy. Take the rings off.
I literally can't get them off. Otherwise, I would.
To be fair,
They are stuck right on there.
Yeah.
But on that note, we were just talking about. So you were talking about young musicians and people in the game. What advice would you give to people following your footsteps? What kind of thing would you wish
I'd
you were
say,
told when you were younger and you were starting out?
I got told everything I needed to get told, and that was the beauty.
Yeah.
I'd say put yourself in a position where you're getting told what you need to be told. And what I mean by what you need to be told, what you need to be told is the truth. What you don't need to be told is everything just to get you to believe in a false truth. I was told the harsh truth, and it didn't always feel great. But it got me to a point where I'm able to be myself. So keep a good, close circle of friends around you. Probably the ones you grew up with from day one. They say don't mix business, blood and water, or some sort of phrase. But fuck that. Forgot we can swear.
Fuck.
Shh, that.
No, yeah, that makes well, that's so great as well, because I feel the same about life as well. If you're told, you're given all the nice things, then you're never going to make it, because you're just going to think, oh, everything's fine all the time.
Yeah, well, it's like that, isn't it? Like,
Yeah.
sometimes I've been guilty of telling people something because I know they just want to hear it. And that does no good for someone, you know what I mean?
It doesn't help, does
Yeah.
it? Especially in the music industry as
Yeah.
well right now.
Yeah. But one thing I've always been told, And it's another clear thing, key thing we need to get off any other budding like musicians or anyone doing anything, is that factor of don't give up, mate, please, because what's going to happen is you're not ever going to realise. If you don't, how do you not know what you never know?
Yeah.
So just keep grafting, keep grinding. Why does anything else have to matter? I'm telling you, struggle. You might not have no money for 2 years. You might not get no radio play for 5 years during that. And you might just be like, oh, why am I doing this? You're doing it because it's your purpose, mate.
Mike Reich is telling you right now on FUBAR Radio, listen up if you're an up-and-coming musician or an up-and-coming anything.
Anything you want to be, even if you could do the best in anything, but just be the best at you.
Well, I'm telling you now, I couldn't do what you do. I would be awful. We've already tested out a minute ago when you were spitting some bars, and I was
all
like,
right, let's be honest. You can't all do everything.
No, but that's okay. It's mostly just me. So I saw your live tracks on SBTV, and also I was been catching all your videos. SBTV, Charlie Sloth did release one for you. Link Up TV. I wanted to ask you. I think it's an important question to ask artists like you. How important do you think it is for the support of these music channels for artists like you and up and coming artists and big artists like you or up and coming, doesn't matter? Do you think it's important for these people to sort of be supporting you?
Yeah, that's a great question, amazing question. I'm glad you asked it, and I think it is 100%. It's a priority. It should be a priority for them as UK broadcasters, big platforms, you know, that are sort of, in my opinion, gatekeepers, and you know, massive props, because you built this empire, but don't forget why you built it, you know. And it also works 50-50. There's people that were born on these channels. I was. That's why I've sort of stayed true. May have had moments where we've had like a bit of a, oh, what's going on here, what's going on there. It's never lost any love. And it's important to sort of build these relationships, maintain these relationships, and find these opportunities where you can get in with these correct people and sort of build relationships with them. But there should also be a thing of, like, from their side of open-mindedness, like an openness of, like, it doesn't matter. Like, if you're a sick, talented artist and you're from Whitstable, like, you should have the same opportunity as a sick, talented artist that's from, like, West, East, South London,
So
Birmingham. Funny
you say that. A lot of people I've been interviewing recently have noted that.
Yeah.
About artists not being recognised because they're maybe not from London or...
I mean, I'm not from London. I'm from Margate. Yeah. I feel like I'm the first of my kind, and I literally had to use that to my advantage. Like,
well, you wrote a story. You wrote a story about Margate, and you're teaching people about Margate, a place that maybe people haven't even heard of or haven't been to. I mean, I've been to it a few times, but maybe people haven't been down there. Maybe haven't checked it out.
Yeah, but that's a great question, and it is important. And I do think, like, all these channels, they do such a good job. But expansion, show the world. Now you've got all these eyes on you. Show the world what is out there, because I'm telling you, you got to put yourself in the position of a person that is in Whitstable and has been writing for 5 years and is hungry and no one's ever heard his music. Imagine the sort of stuff they're creating.
Yeah, definitely.
Honestly, you couldn't comprehend it.
I've got a really difficult question for you now. Dreamland, out tomorrow. What is your favourite track on the album? Yeah, told you it was difficult. At least I precursed it.
When I listen to the album, I look at it as like a one long track.
Yeah.
I can't think of it as one thing, but I always say the most recent track I made, because every track I try and make, I try and outdo the last.
And they've been made over a few years, right? The tracks.
There's some tracks that have been held back from 2003.
Does it feel good to finally be getting those ones out as well as the ones you've just dropped?
Amazing.
Yeah.
Like, amazing.
Like,
and I'm glad I held them back for so long.
Because you got to wait for the right time, I guess.
Yeah, I mean, I just also knew that these are moments that you couldn't ever get back. And if I was just to put them out at the point I was at then, there would be no audience to sort of listen to it. And I knew there were certain songs that were special. I was putting music out then, but there were ones that I'd written that I knew just couldn't go out now.
You got to hold that back.
Yeah, and we'd always had the concept of Dreamland. So it was like, without even knowing, subconsciously, we'd built an album over this period of time and created a concept without knowing.
Yeah. Which is perfect.
It does work quite well,
perfectly, you know?
Yeah, because when you got the pressure on you of having to create an album, you got to think, all right, what's the idea? What's the concept? Am I just going to make a bunch of tracks? It could be mad for an artist, really, because you think these are the things that are difficult to take in, because, you know, this is a job, but it's a fun job. I'm not on a building site digging every day. I don't want to do that no more. But these are the parts of it, the pressure of like, hang on a minute, I've got to write an album, the world's going to receive it, how are they going to see it? They've got pressure, they've got a date, they've got a time. And it's like, am I just making music willy-nilly for no reason? And I do think that's something that eats away at artists, because really and truly, I feel like there's a burning desire in all of us to have to do something more, because I don't know, there's a feeling of disconnect in everyone I meet. Yeah. No matter how they try and disguise it. But
and in a way, you're sort of reconnecting it by this album, is reconnecting it, you know?
Yeah, I'm sort of trying to relight the flame, ignite the fire.
And for fans who are listening and watching, what would you tell them they can expect from Dreamland?
Honesty, and 100% honesty, and the reality of my situation, and hopefully a little bit of their story in my story. Yeah. Because every struggle is different, but the feeling in it is all the same. Pain is pain. Fear is fear. Love is love. Every part of that story, every emotion in it, you'll be able to relate to as I tell it. When you listen to it, approach it with an open mind and think, hey, when I'm tap dancing and I couldn't get in the studio and I had to climb through the window that night and fall onto the bloody hard floor and I hit my head on the crossbar that they have. And I had to get up and then do a little tap dance till 8 a.m. and the owners come and found me and kicked me out. It's like, that's just like that story of 2005 when I broke into the studio. Yeah. Think like that.
If you are that tap dancer, do tweet us in at FUBAR Radio. We want to hear your story. Before we go, we play a little game on my show. Yeah. On FUBAR Radio. So Mike Righteous, I'd like to ask you a little question. And the game is called Desert Island Dicks. Okay, and in this game...
I forgot this was FUBAR Radio.
Yeah. We can say things like dick on the radio. So in Desert Island Dicks, I take you to an island and I leave you there. Okay. And I leave you there with one song, and that one song has got to be the shittest song you could imagine being left there with. Or it can be a song that you maybe like, but you know if you were stuck on that desert island with it, you couldn't bear it. So Mike Righteous, what is your Desert Island Dick? It's a toughie.
I couldn't think of anything more worse than being stranded on a desert island somewhere, desolate, with no one, just me and my thoughts, and just constantly hearing the drumming ring of something like the Cheeky Girls.
I think that's a very good choice. Do you mean we are the cheeky girls, you are the cheeky girls?
How do you know that song?
You are the cheeky boys. I'm of an age where I know that song.
God. Right, put yourself in this situation.
I'm there with you, babe. Yeah. I mean, I'm not, because I'm leaving you on your own, but I'm mentally there with you.
Yeah. That is like torture methods, and I would not ever want to experience that.
So Mike Righteous' Desert Island Dicks.
You've replaced my sort of fear of being buried alive with a fear of being desolate on a fucking...
With the cheeky girls.
On an island with the cheeky girls playing repeatedly.
You know what? I might be even nicer to you and send you to that desert island with the actual cheeky girls. How about that?
Well, actually, that could be...
Okay, no,
that could work out for the better, if I'm honest.
Hold on. All they can do is sing at you.
Okay, well, is there an ocean?
Yes.
I'll drown.
Okay. Cheeky Girls, the cheeky song, Mike Righteous' Desert Island Dick. Thank you so much for joining us on FUBAR Radio.
Thank you so much.
We're so excited for Dreamland out tomorrow, and the live stream goes 12 a.m. tonight.
Yes,
so
let's
make
not
sure
forget, that's
you
the
lock
biggest
in.
part.
Yes.
Global listening party, 12 o'clock, tonight, Thursday. Dreamland's going to be available. Listen in with me. I'll have my headphones on. I'll talk you through the tracks, and I'm going to leave you here. FUBAR, absolutely love Harriet. Love you.
Yes, thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you for having me.
Bye, everybody.
Bye.